The Talmud teaches us an essential lesson. Kol Yisrael arivim zeh bazeh. Each of us as Jews is responsible one for another. We cannot look at the plight of another family and say, thank God that isn't me, and pretend that their concerns are not our concerns. All of us must come together as a community to make sure that we provide for each and every Jewish child who seeks a Jewish education.
And so whether it was traditional school or religious school, each day was going to be an adventure, and generally the adventure was not a happy one. So when he would come to religious school, like any other day at school, we would be kind of on pins and needles to wonder what was going to happen. Was he going to make it through?
Well, sometimes children come into our program when they're toddlers or 2 years old. It's their first experience in school, and we're the first ones to notice that there may be some sort of a challenge. The teacher makes an observation in the classroom, and then we have to sometimes bring in other professionals to do an evaluation. When that happens, we are now faced with a situation where the parent is paying a rather large tuition and then may also need to procure the services of a specialist. Which can oftentimes make it cost prohibitive if they need a shadow, for example, in a school setting. Ultimately, what that means is sometimes we are basically asking people to leave our program.
If one of our shadows is unable to come on a Sunday morning, then we have to call the parents of the student, and the student usually doesn't come because I don't have the resources to help them be successful in the classroom.
When I got the call from Susan saying that she has a diagnosis and it's Asperger's syndrome, or with PDD-NOS, and it's on the autism spectrum. Kind of a flashbulb moment for me. I remember exactly where I was sitting, and you sort of think of it as like a life sentence, and you just project downstream, is he ever going to ride a bike? So you think all those things.
So when Simon first showed up at Hebrew school, he was super shy, super quiet, kind of kept to himself, and I didn't really know if I would be able to break that barrier and really get to know him in the way that I have. And over the course of this year, it's been insane to see how much progress he's made and how much we've clicked.
Because when you have a child on the spectrum, around the board, everyone says to figure out things that they're interested in and, latch onto that and bridge from that, and that's how you sort of get more and more out of them. My son happened to really like Judaism, and he loved being in a Jewish preschool. He loved he loved Shabbat services, he likes singing, he loves dancing, he gets into it. It was just a big motivator for him, and the idea of having to discontinue a Jewish education because he aged out of preschool was sad to me.
One thing we would like to see are paid assistants or paid shadows that are able to be here consistently, and they have a lot of tools and knowledge to their disposal to help the students.
So first, we need to make sure that we have the ability to provide the resources necessary to train our teachers to be better equipped to handle students with special needs, so that they have better pedagogic skills to know how to help a student who has ADHD, or so that we have smaller class sizes that have sensory-sensitive environments so that they can mitigate the distractions that keep them from having a productive classroom experience.
The ability to have a specialist that we could call on can really be life-changing.
When Brian was in preschool, we learned that it was not the right program for him. And it's my dream that children in our preschool and in our religious school could spend their time in the classrooms, because specialists would be there to create learning opportunities for their specific needs.
No family stands alone.
No family stands alone.
No family stands alone.